Hey, what's good YouTube? Jamo TV HD. Now, obviously, we out here with the PS Vita. And the main reason for that is I was doing a clear out the other day. I was like, rah, let's try and make some money on eBay. Let me sell a couple of things that man is not using. And I picked up the PS Vita and I was like, yeah, man is gonna shot this. But then I looked at it and I was like, I saw the resemblance between the PS Vita and the Nintendo Switch. Mostly because of the twin analog sticks. And I thought, rah, does this thing still bang? And just for banter, I went on Twitter. I don't usually use Twitter that much, but yeah, I went on Twitter now and I posted a picture of my PS Vita and I was like, look, does anybody remember this thing? Like, does anybody actually still use their PS Vita in 2018? Just for banter kind of thing. And people were onto it. They were like, yo, the PS Vita is still there, we're still using this thing. People are talking about their collections or they're trying to get physical games for it still. I'm assuming it's, more of a collector's kind of thing. But people say, yeah, there's still games, going out. And I did a little bit of coming out for it kind of thing. And I did a little bit of research and I was like, rah, there are still a couple of games that are still, coming out. So obviously I wheeled up the PS Vita now, plugged it in with the micro USB thing and, looked on the PS Vita store and I was like, rah, there's still a lot of games on here. There's a lot of games that I've not played. And more importantly, because I watched the Nintendo Switch Direct the other day, I saw a couple of games that are coming out in that Direct that are already on the PS Vita. Like, I can't remember, it's called Lacrimosa of something another, something like that. But yeah, that's a big game. It's coming onto the Nintendo Switch. But it's been on the PS Vita for time. It's been on the PS Vita, I think when I looked in the store, I think it's been out since 2015 or 2016, and it's only just coming to the Nintendo Switch. I thought, hold on a second though, what other games are on the PS Vita that I don't know about? Because I feel like people have been sly with PS Vita, like there's not many physical releases anymore, and I feel like there might be still stuff coming out on the store that not everybody knows about. So I had a little pre, and I was shocked because there was a lot of games on there, like, there was WRC, a lot of racing games, a lot of fighting games, and a lot of them are, kind of Japanese RPG based or like, Japanese fighting style, 2D kind of things, which is not really what I'm into, like, the kind of Blaze Blue kind of fighting game. But apart from that, you got Need for Speed, you got a lot of FPS shooting games on there, and there's bare PS2 throwbacks on there. So yeah, we've been asking for Virtual Console on Nintendo Switch so that we can play GameCube games on the Nintendo Switch, but we still ain't got that yet. But we've got that on the PS Vita, well, PS2 games on the PS Vita anyway. So then my question is, why is the PS Vita dead? Like, the library is still banging. There's bare games on the PS Vita library. Pick up your PS Vita and pre the library and you'll see what going on. One of the reasons is obviously the memory card only goes up to 64 gig. Now, back in the day, I've obviously bought more than 64 gigabytes worth of games on the PS Vita. Now, back in the day, I've obviously bought more than 64 gigabytes worth of games on the PS Vita. So it's a bit annoying that I can only buy a 64 gigabyte memory card maximum for the PS Vita for me to download my games. Obviously, the Nintendo Switch goes up to whatever it goes up to. But there's just bare games. There's like adventure games. I've been playing Ratchet and Clank. I've been playing Uncharted. Been playing Jack and Daxter. Been playing Assassin's Creed, Need for Speed. WRC, a little rally game kind of thing. I've been playing bare games and lots of shooting games. They've got Call of Duty on there. They've got, Resistance as well. I've been playing a little bit of that. And what was the other one I've been playing? Oh, yeah, Killzone. And they got Killzone. And the thing is, with the PS Vita, it's a lot more portable in form factor than the Nintendo Switch is. Obviously, they're both portable. But the Nintendo Switch, I'm not going to lie, it's a bit wham. It's a bit cumbersome. I don't... Like, if you're standing up on a train, I'd rather play with the PS Vita than play with the Nintendo Switch because, I've got a little, as you can see, I've got a little string on my PS Vita which I can just wrap around my wrist so that if I do get knocked or if the train does stop suddenly, it's not going to go flying out of my hand. And I can't say the same for the Nintendo Switch. And, it's got the PS Vita's got all the necessary things that it needs to have to still be living in 2018. It's got its Wi-Fi, it's got Bluetooth, which you can actually use with any, other audio devices. So you can plug in some Bluetooth headphones, you can, plug in normal headphones, obviously, connect to a Bluetooth speaker. Lots of different Bluetooth capabilities with the PS Vita. One thing I have realized though, I mean, I've been playing it for about 2 weeks on my little 20-minute commutes to and from work. Is that although they look kind of identical with the PS Vita, I mean, say, although the PS Vita looks a lot like the Nintendo Switch, although the PS Vita looks a lot like the Nintendo Switch in terms of all the inputs it has, it's actually quite different because it's got four less inputs. Now the PS Vita is lacking a pair, a second pair of shoulder buttons. It's lacking L1 and R2, and it's also lacking, the clickiness of the analog sticks, the L3 and R3. And although those four buttons don't seem like much, I've you use them in every game. Most games you're going to use them anyway, especially for shooting games. So they are very useful, and I see PS Vita or Sony, they've tried to get around it by incorporating the touch screen or the rear touchpad. But in a competitive situation, it's not really that. Like I remember one game, I can't remember if it was Call of Duty or if it was Killzone, but one of them had melee as the back touchpad, and sometimes my hand would already be on the back touchpad, so I'd accidentally melee without realizing it, or they'd have the front touch screen for chucking a grenade, which kind of worked, but it wasn't as quick as a dedicated grenade button, if you get what I'm saying. And that was one of the main things that was a real bummer to me with the PS Vita, because I think if it had that, it would still be alive today. But apart from that, yeah, it's a decent console. If you still do have your PS Vita, double check on the store. There's a lot of games going for mad cheap at the moment. So yeah, definitely check them, see what guan, and just do a little PS Vita challenge for yourself before you sell it, or if you've already sold it, sorry, but before you sell it, just take it to work every day and just bang out a different game, and just see if you can get the same feel that you're getting with your Nintendo Switch. Because I was cool, and for right now, I feel like I've got more games on my PS Vita than I will ever have on my Nintendo Switch this year. I haven't really heard too much going on the Nintendo Switch this year, so I'm gonna have to wait until the next Nintendo Direct. But as far as I'm concerned, in 2018, the PS Vita is still very lit. I think there's a new Digimon game coming out as well. So yeah, definitely check your PS Vita if you still got it in your cupboard. Dust it off and ting, keep it moving. Yeah, done or the done know. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Subscribe and like if you haven't already. And if you have, I will catch you in the next one. Jamo out.